the danger of these guys sitting around and having meetings? I mean, I'm challenging because I think it's a state of mind. But if they're not operational, if they don't take arms against the country, what difference does it make if they have this mindset of fear? Mark.
Well, I'd say a couple of things. First off, I'd point out that Stewart Rhodes just talked about, well, you know, maybe this could happen someday down the line, and this is a sort of theoretical worry that he has, or so he says. The reality is that when you look at the Oath Keepers website, the core of it is this business about the orders they're not going to obey, and it starts out with a preamble, a quote from George Washington saying, you know, now is the time, or soon comes the time when it will be determined whether we're slaves or freedmen. Immediately after that, the Oath Keepers website says, presumably in Stewart Rhodes's words, that that time is near at hand again. Look, I mean, the bottom line is that this is a group that is driven by conspiracy theories about the government, very much like the militia conspiracy theories.
What's the harm? What's the harm in his thinking?
They believe, presumably, that FEMA's out there setting up concentration camps and that kind of thing. I mean, this whole list of things that they're not going to do are the very fears that were enunciated by people in the militia movement, some of whom went on to do rather violent things. In one case, to attempt to attack Fort Hood in Texas because they thought foreign nationals were being trained there to suppress American patriots. So it's very much the same idea. Look, I mean, I have no
let him respond to that. Let him respond to that. Do you have anybody in your group? Have you had any indication, Stewart, that any people have heard your arguments and have become dangerous to our society?
Not at all. They're
what about the birther crowd? Are you connected to the... I want to know one other thing, because this fellow that broke into the Holocaust Museum, no, the other day, it wasn't long ago, it was this summer, broke into the Holocaust Museum and shot the armed guard. He believed he was honoring a cause, which was that Barack Obama shouldn't be president because he's not a legitimate citizen, a native-born citizen. People do act. McVeigh and those people do act in this way, sir. Stewart, they do act on what they read and hear. You don't fear that.
Not an organization at all. And I find it offensive that Potok likes to lump us in with white supremacists. I'm a quarter Mexican and come from a family of migrant farm workers from California. And so to him to insinuate that I'm in bed with white supremacists and neo-Nazis, which he has, lumping us all together is offensive.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I haven't suggested that you're connected remotely to white supremacists.
You said we're coalescing. We're all coalescing together.
And how is that, Mr. Rhodes?
Excuse me? You lump us all in the same bucket.
How is that we've suggested that you're a white supremacist? That's ridiculous. You know we haven't said that.
Yes, you have. You put us in the same bucket.
The bottom line about the Oath Keepers is that this is a group of men and women who are largely in law enforcement. They are given weapons and they are given authority over the rest of us, and that is well and fine. I'm all about reaffirming oaths to the Constitution. It's a great document, as is the Bill of Rights. However, when people with those powers are animated by dark and utterly false conspiracy theories, they actually mention in this section on the orders they won't obey that they fear that the government will be cracking down on militias and calling them right-wing terrorists and so on.
Which you do all the time.
That's the real agenda here. They're driven by fears that are irrational and have no basis in reality.
And what are you doing?
Okay, let me stop and let Mr. Stewart.
You're driven by donations.
What is your fear? One last word: is there an imminent fear that our federal government will abandon the Constitution, deny us our rights, and even resort to things like concentration camps or disarming the American people in violation of the Second Amendment, disarming the people moving around the country collecting guns? Is that a real danger, sir? Yes or no?
Yes, I think it is.
A real danger.
Yes, I think it is. Look at the pattern of abuse of executive power and the claimed authority to treat America like a battlefield. You keep changing the subject.
What you have in your documents is, will not obey orders to disarm the American people.
That's right.
Do you think these things on your list of fears are imminent and real threats to the American people now? Disarm the American people, detain the American people, martial law, concentration camps. Are those real or just scare tactics, sir?
Those are real threats throughout society. You bet. Those are real threats throughout history. And our goal is to make sure they don't happen. Of course. Wouldn't you fear them?
Fair enough. Thank you, Stewart Rhodes. Thanks for coming on a Hardball. I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm agreeing with your right to say anything.